Welcome to the earthquake engineering subject module 1, the session 1. So in this session it will be dealt with the engineering seismology, and in fact the whatever the course outcome is there to acquire the basic knowledge of engineering seismology. Now the seismology is the study of the uh, generation, propagation, and measurement of the seismic waves through the earth and the sources that generated them. In general, the whatever the word seismology is there, it's originated from the Greek words, that is the seismos. Seismos is nothing but the earthquake, and logos means the science, that is the earthquake science, or earth science in generally we will call. The actually here in this seismology, it is related with the study of the seismic waves propagation through the earth that provides the maximum input to the understanding of the internal structure of the earth. Actually, the study of the earthquake engineering is nothing but the understanding of the geophysical processes that causes the earthquakes and various effects of the earthquakes are concerned. Now, the earthquake is nothing but the disturbances that happens at some depth below the ground level, which causes the vibrations at the ground surfaces. These vibrations happen in all the directions and are totally uncertain. The location, time, duration, magnitude, and frequency of earthquakes are totally unknown. Also, these vibrations are momentary, means it's a very short period of time. And it should be noted that the earthquakes are totally unpredictable one, and the earthquake is nothing but, as it is said, that it is shaking or a trembling caused by the sudden release of the energy below the ground, and it is usually associated with the fault or the breaking of the rocks or the continuing adjustment of position of the results of the aftershocks are concerned. And here let us see this particular the flow chart, which is showing that the functioning of the different disciplines which are associated with the earthquake engineering. So this earthquake engineering is a multidisciplinary type of the topic, as it is concerned with the geotechnical engineering, hydrologist, even mechanical and electrical engineering, and environmental engineering also. So as far as the geology is concerned, geological aspects is concerned, it is nothing but the study is related with the earth structure as well as the plate tectonics and the faults are concerned. And here whatever the seismology is there, so which is concerned with the seismic event, how this transmission of the seismic waves, and how this ground is going to be shaken, that is motioning of the ground, and followed by the seismic study of the ground hazards, the site response, ground amplifications, landside and slope failures, then settlement estimation, liquefaction prediction, and the hazard evaluation and mitigations. All those things are involved. And then as far as the structural engineering are concerned, so it is related with the soil structure interaction as well as the response of the structure. Then finally the civil engineering peoples will deal such a way that how best we can make the performance of the modeling of the structure as well as how to make it earthquake resistance. So this is all about the flow chart, how it is going to be happen. Now let us in continuation of this one, Actually, this earthquake engineering is a branch of the engineering. Not only the manages and the whatever the problems caused during the earthquake. The main objective is to study the reducing the damage effect of the earthquake, possibly the warn against the expected earthquake, and provide suitable mitigation measures. In fact, the earthquake engineering is as I said, that it is a interdisciplinary type of the subject. It's not only the engineering, even it is including the administration, managerials, bureaucrats, politicians, and medical doctors. So whatever we have seen it from that previous flowchart figure. Now this particular figure 2, whatever it is, shows that it indicates that the earthquake is the most devastating of all the natural disasters, both in terms of loss of life and loss to built environment. Now let us see the first the figure, which is showing that the percentage loss of the life. You can see it from the figure here. You can see that the 55% on an average is losses is due to the life because of the earthquakes, and followed by 27% due to flood, and then the whatever the hurricanes are around 11%, volcanoes 3%, and other natural calamities which count about 3%. So like that, the major contributions of the loss of the life is due to earthquake only. And also we can see it in the other figure that it shows that percentage damage to the building environment or built environment. So here also we can see that the 50% the whatever the loss is or damage to the takes place to the building are related with the earthquakes only 50%, and now the next volcanic is 5% contributions, and hurricanes is 38%, and flood is 3%, and others we can classify it as a 4%. So this is all about how exactly one can see the effect of earthquake as far as the loss of the life as well as the damage to the buildings. Now next see about the next part is the internal structure of the earth. So the whatever the earth shape is there is a spheroid. Actually it is a spheroid with the diameter along the equator about the 1200 kilometer, whatever the diameter is there. So at the equator is 12740 kilometer. So with the polar diameter is around 12,700 kilometer. See, whatever the higher diameter along the equator is caused by the higher centrifugal forces that generate along the equator due to the rotation of the earth. Even though the whatever the specific gravity of the materials that constitute of the earthquake, whatever the earth's surface is there, it is around 2.8 on an average. The specific gravity of the whatever the earth is there, so it is around 5.5 due to the presence of the heavy whatever the materials as you can see it in the core, that is the internal part of the earth. So whatever the interior of the earth can be classified into the three major categories as it is shown in the figure. That is a crust is the outermost, and then followed by the mantle, that is outer mantle, and in the inner mantle, and the central, that is the core. And if you see it the whatever the figure, so here whatever the first we'll talk about the crust, whatever the outer layer which is shown in the figure as ranging from 5 to 70 kilometer. Actually the crust, whatever it is there, it is also called as lithosphere, is a outer part of the earth where exactly the actual the earth, the life is exist. And average thickness the whatever the crust is there below, it is around 40 kilometer, we can say, whereas it is even decreases to up to 5 kilometer also somewhere in the oceans. The ocean crust is constituted by the basalt rock and the continental part by the granite rocks overlaying the basaltic rock. Compared to the layers below, this layer has the high rigidity and the anisotropy. Now next one is the mantle, which is a 2,900 kilometer thick, whatever you can see it in the figure. And this mantle is consist of the two parts. One is the upper mantle, another one is the lower mantle. Upper mantle is reaching the depth around 400 kilometer, made of the olivine and pyroxene, whatever the two materials. And next the lower mantle, which is made up of a more homogeneous the whatever the mass is there, okay, of the magnesium and iron oxide and even the quartz. So no earth are recorded in the whatever the earthquakes are there in the past recorded in the lower mantle. So what only it is going to happen in the upper portions only. The whatever the specific gravity of this mantle is around 5, and mantle has an average temperature of around 22 degree 2200 degree centigrade, whatever it is predicted. And this material is viscous and semi-molten type. Whatever this mantle is there, it's viscous as well as a semi-molten state. And this mantle is acts like a fluid in response to slowly acting the stresses and the creeps under slow lobes. But it behaves like a solid in presence of rapidly acting stresses and that caused by the earthquake waves. And then the last part is the core. So core is of radius 3470 kilometer and consists of the inner core radius is nothing but 1370 kilometer, and the outer core is in between, ranging from 1370 kilometer to 3470 kilometer. So whatever the core is there, it's a composed of the core, whatever it is there, you can see it at the center, is composed of molten iron, probably mixed with the small quantity and other elements such as nickel and sulfur and silicon. The inner solid core is a very dense nickel iron material, and it is subjected to high pressure. Whatever the maximum temperature in the core is estimated around 3000 degrees Celsius, and the specific gravity at the outer core is around range from 9 to 12. Whereas the inner core is the specific gravity is around the 15. So what the thing which we can see it from the internal structure of the earth. Now let us see the some basic terminologies which oftenly we refer here afterwards. So look into the figure. So figure itself will give the self explanations of the different the terminals, whatever. The first one is focus. You can see that focus. So where the is nothing but also called as a hypocenter. This focus is also called as the hypocenter, and it is the location where the earthquake originates. It's the original point within the earth where the faulting begins. Its focus or a hypocenter, what we say. So it may be a point or a line or a plane. It will be deep below the earth's surface, deep below the earth's surface. And now next point terminology is epicenter. So you can see it, epicenter, which is seen on the surface of the earth. So it is nothing but the projection of focus on the surface of the earth, and whatever it is point is there, it's a very close to the point that is the release of energy, and the point is directly above the focus. Point is directly above the focus on the surface of the epicenter. And next one is the focal depth. You can see that focal depth. So this focal depth is nothing but the distance between focus and epicenter. and is closer the focal depth and more damaging is the earthquake. Okay, so next is the epicentral distance. So epicentral distance is it's a distance between the point of interest to epicenter. So these are the some important terminologies which we oftenly refer, and you can see it looking into the figure. Now, next part is the causes of the earthquake. Okay, so there are different the possibilities are there, the causes of the earthquakes, and mostly they are natural type of. Mostly they are natural type of, but there can be a man-made also. Means the cause may be a natural or it may be a man-made. And here is the following the whatever the list we can see it. One is the tectonic earthquake, and second one is volcanic, rockfall or a collapse of cavity, then microseism, and the explosion, which is controlled by the blast, that is a man-made, and reservoir induced earthquake, and next the mining induced earthquake. So these are the some this one, and the last one is the cultural noise or a industry or a traffic, whatever it is there. So that is a man-made. It should be noted that the earthquake by itself may not create problem, but it develops such a force that man-made system may not sustain under this force unless proper care is taken. And here some of the whatever the characters of the earthquakes are there. The first one is an earthquake does not cause the death or injury by itself, and second one is peoples are hurt by falling the plaster and collapsing of the walls or falling of the heavy objects. Then the collapsing of the building and vibrations can cause short circuits and electric fires, and the whatever the light and gas is there or stove is there also cause the fire. Then all this leads to panic and confusion, and which sometimes needs the precautions to avoid the confusion. So this is the all about the causes and its effect of the earthquake. Now let us see that the theory of plate tectonic. Look into the figure. Look into the figure. The whatever the lithosphere is of the earth is not a single piece. Whatever the outermost crust is there, so it's not a single piece, but it has made up of several continental plates containing land mass, and ocean plates are underwater. They fix together like a jigsaw puzzle, and whatever the plates are there, they this one float over the magma, whatever in many directions in different speeds, what we can see it in a figure. And here the whatever the plate tectonic theory is there, so it's having the certain thing is to be noticed. One is the whatever the continental crust is there, so it's less dense or lighter than the ocean crust, and also it does not sink or it never destroy, and it is considered as a permanent. And ocean crust is heavier, hence it can sink below the continental crust, and it is constantly being formed and destroyed at ocean edge and trenches. The whatever the continental crust is there can carry the on beyond the edges of the land and finally end as far as sea is concerned. And this is why the edges of all the continents do not have the deep trench right up against their coastal lines. Whatever the plates are there can never overlap, hence the plate must either collide or both be pushed up and down to form the mountains, or one of the plates must be pushed down into mantle and it may be destroyed. and there can be never be any gap between the plates. Hence, the two plates move apart. A new rock will be formed to fill up the space, and Earth is not getting bigger or smaller. Hence, the whatever the amount of new crust is there is being formed must be the same as the amount that is being destroyed. And whatever the plate movement is there, it's a very slow, and nobody can see the continents moving when the plates make a sudden movement, and whatever the sudden movement is there, jerk is there, that one is nothing but the called as an earthquake, and it is a very a short period what it is there. It's only time the plate movement a moment can be felt. And whatever the figure is there, so here you can see that there are several major plates are there. They are called as a tectonic plates. 7 major plates are there. So actually the whatever the convection currents are there, that which is going to develop in the viscous mantle because of the prevailing the high pressure, high temperature and pressure gradient between the crust and the core, the whatever the convective flow of mantle that causes the crust and some portion of the mantle to slide in the hot molten outer core, and this sliding of the earth mass takes place in the pieces called tectonic plates. And the whatever the surface of the earth is consists of 7 major tectonic plates are there, what we can see it in the figure. Okay, the first whatever it is there is you can see it, the Eurasian plate, and then Indo-Australian plate, Pacific plate, North America plate, South America plate, African plate, and last one is Antarctic plate. Sometimes the whatever the plate is there in front of the is slower than the plate behind it, and they collide, so that forming of the mountains. So whatever the plate is there, so Indo Australian plate as well as the Eurasian plate is there. So where at this boundary, so at this boundary is how this Himalayan region has been formed, that is a forming colliding of the plate, that is a forming the mountains. And sometimes two plates move away from one another, so it is creating a rift. In other cases, the two plates move side by side in opposite directions. The whatever the 3 types of the interplate interactions are there. The first one is the convergent, divergent, or the transmission boundaries are there. The relative moment of these plates boundaries varies across the earth. On an average, it is order of a couple of 10 centimeters or tens of centimeters per year. And when the crust is subjected to tectonic forces in beyond whatever the it will bend slightly, and because of the crust is rigid and the stresses exceeds the strength of the rock, and the crust breaks and snaps into new position. So whatever the vibrations, so whatever it is called or generated, and travel both the earth and along the surface. Whatever the this flow is there, so a traveling flow is there, you can see it as a seismic waves or the causes of the moment which we call as an earthquake. And anyway, so that wave, seismic waves, all those things will be studied in detail in the next coming sessions. Thank you.